Imagine stepping outside your cave 40,000 years ago, and the first thing you see is a bear the size of a small car. Not a metaphor, a real bear. Standing on its hind legs, it could look into a second-story window, if houses had existed. Its claws were longer than your fingers. It could outrun a horse. And that bear wasn't even the scariest thing out there. This is the story of how a soft, slow, clawless animal, us, survived in a world built for giants. No claws, no fangs, no fur thick enough to survive a blizzard. And somehow, we're still here, while every single one of those giants is gone. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how we did it, and why the very thing that made us weak is the reason we won. We like to imagine the Ice Age as just cold. Snow, some mammoths, maybe a saber-toothed cat in the background. But that picture is wrong. It doesn't come close. The world our ancestors lived in was full of animals so large that if you saw them today, you'd think they escaped from a movie set. There was the giant, short-faced bear, taller than a grizzly, faster than a racehorse over short distances, and almost certainly capable of killing a human in a single swipe. There were dire wolves, hunting in packs twice the size of modern wolf packs, built heavier and stronger, built specifically to bring down large prey. There were mammoths. Not the cute cartoon version, but 10-ton animals that could crush a human skull under 1 foot without even noticing. And there were saber-toothed cats, whose canine teeth alone were as long as a human hand, built to punch through the rib cage of prey many times their own size. Now here's the part that should stop you cold. Humans, at this time, had none of the tools we associate with survival today. No metal, no long-range weapons, no fire in every camp, every night, guaranteed. Just wood, stone, and each other. So the real question isn't, how did ancient humans survive the Ice Age? It's how did the weakest, slowest, most physically unimpressive animal in that entire ecosystem not just survive, but eventually outlive every single one of those predators? Here's what nobody tells you about survival. Strength isn't what determines who lives. Coordination does. A lion is stronger than a human. A wolf is faster. A bear can survive a blow that would kill us instantly. But not one of those animals could do something humans could do almost from birth. Plan 3 steps ahead, together, as a group, using a shared idea nobody could see or touch. Early humans didn't fight giants one-on-one. They never had to. Instead, they did something far more dangerous to the animal kingdom than any single claw or fang. They thought as a team. Picture a mammoth hunt. Not a single spear thrown by a lone hero. That's Hollywood, not history. It was 15, 20 people, each with a specific role, driving the animal toward a cliff edge or a natural trap, using fire, noise, and terrain the animal didn't understand it was walking into. The mammoth never stood a chance. Not because humans were stronger, but because the mammoth was facing one opponent, and humans were facing it as an organized unit executing a plan. This is the pattern that repeats again and again throughout the Ice Age. Humans didn't outmuscle the giants. They outthought them, every single time. If coordination was the strategy, fire was the tool that made it unstoppable. Every large predator on Earth, then and now, shares one universal fear: an open, uncontrolled flame. It doesn't matter how big the claws are or how thick the fur is. Fire doesn't care about muscle. The moment humans mastered fire, the entire balance of power in the natural world shifted. A campsite that was once vulnerable to a curious bear or a hungry pack of wolves became untouchable after dark. Predators that had ruled the night for millions of years suddenly had to root around human camps, not through them. But fire did something even more important than scaring off predators. It changed what humans could eat. Cooked meat is easier to digest, delivers more usable energy, and made it possible for early humans to fuel bigger brains. The very brains that were outplanning every giant predator around them. In other words, fire didn't just protect humans from the giants. It's part of the reason humans became smart enough to outthink them in the first place. As human groups spread across continents, into Europe, into the Americas, into Australia, something strange kept happening. Wherever humans arrived in large enough numbers, the largest animals in that region started vanishing within a few thousand years. Giant ground sloths in the Americas, gone shortly after humans arrived. Massive flightless birds in places like Australia and New Zealand, gone. Woolly mammoths, once spread across 2 continents, reduced to isolated pockets, and eventually extinct almost everywhere except a few remote islands. Scientists still debate exactly how much of this was caused by climate change versus direct human hunting. But the pattern is hard to ignore. The giants that had ruled the planet for millions of years before us didn't survive more than a few thousand years after organized human groups arrived in their territory. Think about that. The same species that once had to build fires just to sleep safely through the night became, within a relatively short span of time, the single greatest threat every large animal on the planet had ever faced. We didn't just survive the world of giants, we ended it. So why does any of this matter today? Because it tells you something about what actually makes a species. Or honestly, a person, capable of surviving anything. It was never about being the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest in the room. It was about the ability to plan together, adapt faster than the threat around you, and use tools the competition couldn't even imagine yet. The short-faced bear had power. The saber-toothed had speed. The mammoth had size. Humans had none of that. And we're the only ones left. If this is the first video of ours you've watched, we tell true, deeply researched stories from human history that most people have never heard. Stories about how we survived, adapted, and became the species running this planet. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit subscribe, because next week's story might be even harder to believe than this one.